Here we are on Wednesday's program, and thank you for being a part of it. A little more activity weather-wise tonight. Nothing to compare, of course, to the past 48 hours, but nevertheless, some light, small hail here in downtown Sagersville right around the 5 o'clock hour. We'll take a look at current conditions and expectations and answer the question as to whether or not we're going to see any flakes at the tail end of this low-pressure system that, of course, has caused so much damage and, as we've learned, resulted in one death here in the Commonwealth, and we'll update you on all that in just a second. Actually, that'll be one of the first things we go to in just a few moments, as we do have numbers in regards to power outages. They've been cut in just about half from this morning. The governor as well detailing that we had a total of 5 tornadoes confirmed in Kentucky that touched down in a total of 6 Kentucky counties, with almost 24 reporting anywhere from small to very large amounts of damage. Fortunately, that last round of storms just didn't add up to what it was thought it was going to. However, that doesn't mean a lot of folks aren't trying to recover from lost homes and businesses or damaged to some degree. Power outages were cut in half by around 5 o'clock this afternoon, just a little time ago, from around 30,000 this morning down to under 15,000. Henry County still with several hundred out. Campbell County almost 2,000, and you can see other Kentucky counties have several to just a few out. McGoffin and Johnson, 0 reported out. I'm glad to report to you. The governor crediting a lot of folks making it out of these storms unscathed, at least for themselves, not so much for their property, by us all having learned some hard lessons, weather lessons, over the past few years, and paying much closer attention to warnings and dangers associated with Mother Nature.
First, the toughest news out of the storm: we've confirmed one weather-related fatality. This came in Campbell County in a car accident when those first line of strong storms and rain were coming through. The better news is, outside of that, we haven't even had major injuries reported. But listen, the loss of one life, and I believe this is a young man, is a tragic occurrence, and we'll be praying for him and for his family. These storms were wide-ranging, and they left a lot of damage across much of the state. First, here's where we stand on confirmed tornadoes according to the National Weather Service and Kentucky Emergency Management, and some of this has changed in the last 20 or so minutes.
In fact, even since then, confirmation of tornadoes in Anderson, Jessamine, Bourbon, Jefferson, possibly over into Henry, while other counties such as Boyd, Harlan, Shelby, and Simpson may have as well seen tornadoes, and right now 8 confirmed, as I understand, from the National Weather Service in the state of Kentucky, plus a number of straight-line winds, which in some areas caused just as much or near to damage there.
And that's one of the reasons that I am so thankful that Kentuckians have remained so weather aware. We didn't have as many people out in the first storm because people were paying attention. We did lose that one life. But in the second round, where we saw those tornadoes, right now we don't have a single confirmed fatality from the second part. We had a lot of businesses, including state government, that let out early. If I had a concern going into this, it's just that we face so much that people might not react with the care and the need that is required. But Kentuckians showed they continue to be weather aware, and we've learned some tough lessons over the last several years.
In other headlines tonight, Kentucky's Attorney General Russell Coleman has confirmed that optician Marcus S. Minix Sr., 73 years of age, has been found guilty alongside his ex-wife and former business partner. The two were indicted back in May of 2018. The owner and his ex-wife of several Eastern Kentucky optical clinics, if you will, as well as operations in Lexington. The Kentucky Office of the Attorney General said back per the original indictment that Amy K. Sloan of Prestonsburg and Minix of Lexington were charged with theft by unlawful taking of property over $10,000, devising or engaging in a scheme to defraud the Kentucky Medical Assistance Program, out of significant funds, saying that between 2015 and 2016, false billings were submitted on behalf of Minix Eye Care, a company owned by Minix and operated formerly in Paintsville and Prestonsburg, for eye care services that were never provided and were paid for at the same time by Medicaid. Sloan and Minix were married at the time, since divorced, and working at the eye care center. They are alleged to have withdrawn large amounts of money from the eye care accounts where Medicaid payments were being deposited. The guilty verdict today is for a Class D felony of theft and a Class D felony charge of devising or engaging in a scheme to defraud Kentucky Medicare programs. And they as well issued a statement, being the Attorney General's office, saying that well more than a dozen patients were victimized, not receiving the care that they should. Several considered to be very young children, including one who was legally blind and as well was delayed in getting the proper medical services that were needed. No sentencing date was listed on court documents that I could get. We'll follow that case. We'll follow up with more headlines in just a few seconds.
Jeremy Camp is bringing his theater tour live to the Mountain Arts Center in Prestonsburg, Kentucky on Saturday, April 13th at 7 p.m. With over 6 million albums sold, 43 #1 singles, 5 GMA Dove Awards, and a Grammy nomination, Jeremy Camp is a Christian music superstar. Get your tickets today and share the room with one of the world's most powerful Christian recording artists. Saturday, April 13th at 7 p.m. Stop by the People's Bank box office, call us at 1-888-MAC-ARTS, or visit us at macarts.com.
There where every day starts, it's made and it ends. From hitting the floor to hitting the road and back, your feet carry the day's duties. And if you're hurting from what might be a work or sports or stress-related fracture you don't even know about, diabetic, or that all too often heel pain that just won't go away, or any type of pain or discomfort or in need of wound care, come to where they care.
Put your best foot forward and come visit our podiatry team. We care about our patients and their feet.
That's Dr. Cheney and her team at Hope Family Podiatry Center next to Hope Family Pediatrics on the Mountain Parkway. Raise your hands. Who thinks math is hard? Now, who thinks feeding a family of 4, 6, 8, or 10 is even harder? Well, so do we. Welcome to Math and a Meal Made Easy. Did you know you can get a family meal deal at your Sayersville Lee's for as low as $4.61 a person with bone-in chicken, $4.15 a person with our famous strips? That's chicken sides and biscuits. Count to 100? Thank a math teacher. Feed a family for less? Come to your Sayersville Lee's.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small-town values.
And Mom and Dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
Whether you've got a new ride and you want it to stand out in the crowd, or you want your current ride to look and feel like a new one, no one does lifts, wheels, and tires better than Conley's. Stop in now for spring tire specials, free quotes, and 0% financing, or log on to conleytire.net. House Bill 266, approved by the House and the Senate, on its way to the governor's desk, where it is expecting passage at this time. Contains therein over $15 million for road improvements in Johnson County and over $40 million in McGoffin. These are road plans for 24, 25, and 26, or parts thereof, in Johnson County, improving roadway geometrics and capacity from Garbage Hollow to east of Mill Street. That's a $4 million project during 2025 and 2026. Also in Johnson County, design and study for the Kentucky 172 area to match Morgan County improvements, a 2025 project at $450,000. Also in Johnson County, geometric and safety issues to be addressed, along with future congestion issues on Kentucky Route 40, from Kentucky Route 40 to the Taze Branch area. That's a this year project slated to cost around $1 million. Guardrail to be established or set in Johnson County in the areas of Kentucky 1092, 201, Route 40, Route 580, 3387. Those to be done in the year of 25 and 26, ranging from $64,000 to $106,000 per project. Also in Johnson County, to improve geometrics and capacity on Route 40. This is from 231 to Garbage Hollow. This is this year, slated to cost about $811,000. And also in Johnson County, reconstruct 460 from 114, the county line of McGoffin and Johnson, to the 23 interchange. That'll be half of that project, of course. And this is for this portion of that project slated to come in at around $3.75 million next year, as they'll be using a 2+1 lane model with a 3-foot median, as we have spoke about before, to make 460 much quicker and safer to travel. As well, they're going to look at congestion and safety issues on Kentucky 321 from 6th Street to the junction of 321 and Route 40, $1.7 million, and construct an access road for the new Johnson Central High School and the Johnson Central Middle School. That is, of course, in the biennial highway construction plan. Total of $3.1 million to be spent there, and that's slated to begin, of course, this year, and work to be done over the next two following as well. Following that, in McGoffin County, extend the 4-lane from Prestonsburg, or rather from Sagersville to Prestonsburg, and that will, of course, be in phases. The initial phase of $36.3 million, as they'll continue to widen the Mountain Parkway 4-lane all the way to Prestonsburg from Sagersville. Roadway improvements for Route 40. That's the sidewalk project for downtown, which starts basically almost under the red light and goes on to Route 40, close to 22 mile, I think, or something. $1.5 million. That is in the biennial project for McGoffin County, slated for next year. And also in the budget for next year, the biennial budget, installing guardrail along Route 1081, some $26,000 worth of guardrail, and then reconstruct Route 7 from Will Bailey Road to Kentucky 1090. This is making an alternate route for what is commonly known as the Minix Curve. That has been placed in there, and that is expected to be done, started this year, with that $1.1 million going for just right-of-way acquisition and planning. No construction, but $1.1 million to get that project started with planning and right-of-way acquisition to basically straighten out, if you will, the Minix Curve and make another route through there. Also in McGoffin County, reconstruct 1265 to Kentucky 3050. This is going to be to widen basically from the Gifford Road exit to down and around to make it streamlined, safer, and wider for expected increased traffic there. And that's going to be over the course of the next 3 years, totaling about $1.64 million for a total of $40 million to be invested in McGoffin County roads. Per the biennial highway construction plan, should, and I want to stress should, no changes arise. Next, tonight's calendar, brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. Don't forget, this weekend, this Saturday, weather's going to be cooperative, I think. We'll talk about that in a few seconds. For the Spring Fling Trader Days, hosted by your Royalton Community Council at the Half Mountain Park. Just Trader Days, large amount of vendors. They're going to have a little bit, they're going to have a lot of everything. 9 till 5. It's a growing event that started off on a big note, so look forward to it this Saturday, 9 till 5. Tomorrow and Friday will be the last days this week for the countywide cleanup for any residents who live in District 1. And that includes hazardous waste. That does not include hazardous waste, construction debris, but it does include tires that are not on the rim from households. You can set those out as well. Next week will be for District 2, and the week of April the 15th through the 19th will be for residents of District 3 here in McGoffin County. Any questions, call the judge's office at 349-2313. Any announcements that you might have, like these, or such as birthdays or anniversaries, call me, or use any of these modes of communication that you so choose to make sure I know about them. Going on to funeral service announcements tonight. Brought to you nightly by the McGoffin County Funeral Home in Johnson County from Jones and Preston. 81-year-old Donald Ross of Staffordsville passed away yesterday, survived by his 2 sons, Ronnie and Donnie Ross, a brother Jack, and two sisters, companion Robin Green, and a special grandchild Gracie. Funeral services are set for this Saturday morning at 11 at Jones and Preston. Friends can visit Friday after 1 till 8 and Saturday from 9 until services start at 11 in lieu of flowers. Memorial donations may be made to the Shriners Children's Hospital or Dumas Rescue by contacting Jones and Preston. And lastly tonight, 76-year-old Gary K. Van Hoos of 4th Street in Paintsville passed away today at his home. He's survived by his 2 brothers, and funeral arrangements in his honor are incomplete at this time and to be announced soon. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one. There are several risk factors that may put a patient at risk for heart disease.
Especially people who have diabetes or hypertension or high cholesterol and have a family history of heart disease.
Neglecting to see a cardiologist can put you in trouble. You may develop problems that may not be reversible.
We see many people who do not have an actual diagnosis of a heart problem, but may be at risk of heart disease, and we do whatever we can to help mitigate that risk to help prevent disease in the future. ARH, more for Appalachia.
Regardless of what season it is, you can always find fan favorites of the Ville, Salyersville, at the seasonal shop. For the dudes, Duke and Cannon, Turn Rose, and more. And always something for all the Hornet fans. And for all the ladies, it's always Wildcat season, and it all changes daily. That's why you always have to make a stop at the seasonal shop just next door to Fraser's Prater Drug Store. The best place for all your prescription, over-the-counter, and Radio Shack needs, with some of the very best hometown lunch specials and treats. They're a pair like you can find nowhere else but in Salyersville. Salyersville National Bank hopes to help you start the new year with financial freedom and peace of mind. From new services like Apple and Google Pay with your debit card, to their more than century of being dedicated to being your personal or business banking institution, they're here for you with digital, phone, or in-person banking at both locations. A couple of national headlines that I'll touch on of local importance. One, the cost and price of eggs, which looks to be on its way up even further after the largest egg supplier in the United States had to stop production this week after chickens at their Texas plant tested positive for bird flu, one of the latest spikes of cases across the nation, resulting in the slaughter of about 2 million chickens, 1.5 million hens, and the other young hens not laying or of laying age at the time. Nevertheless, they equated to about 3.6% of the company's flock, and production at the Texas facility was temporarily stopped with the company's protocols, of course, saying that they would follow, of course, any and all guidelines set by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. CA Maine Foods is the largest producer and distributor of fresh eggs in the nation, and it sells most of its eggs in states across the Southwest, Southeast, Midwest, and Mid-Atlantic. And the eclipse is something we'll talk about tonight. And a forecast that for many is not looking all that favorable. Millions of Americans have been gearing up and ready to make their trip, taking off from work and making plans to travel to the path of totality. For the rest of us, well, just waiting to see for us what will be about 93% of a solar eclipse here in the viewing area. Nevertheless, the forecast not really cooperative for everyone. So here we are, current radar conditions. In the last 90 minutes, we've seen not quite, it wasn't really pea-sized hail, but it was fine, small hail coming down. Thick clouds, some rain to follow, pretty gray, dreary conditions. We've seen clouds part, a little blue sky, a lot of blue sky, and I think that back and forth, as you can see, is something that we're going to experience for the rest of your evening as we've got showers still rolling through after this, of course, low has caused so much activity weather-wise and tornadoes and the like for much of Kentucky. So not out of this scenario or this at least system as of yet, with more showers to come for the rest of your evening on and off. As for current conditions, we topped out at 68.5 degrees today, and that was pretty nice. 47 right now, feels more like 41 with a 3-mile-an-hour wind out of the west. And I actually had a 22-mile-per-hour gust today, which was stronger by about 1.5 miles or 2 hours per hour than I had yesterday during the storms. Humidity at 73%. We did get almost 3/4 of an inch of rain over the past 24 hours during that rain event, and just very, very little today. Not enough to really even talk about. Sunrise 7:14, sunset 7, obviously. 58. Your 7-day does outline in further detail an 80% chance of those showers on and off through the evening. Southwesterly winds anywhere from 9 to 24 miles per hour, back and forth for the evening as well. And it'll blow us down to about 35 for nighttime lows. Tomorrow will not recover a whole lot from there. 47 for your expected daytime high on your Thursday, 34 tomorrow night. Westerly winds again, 11 to 25 or so during your Thursday, and an 80% chance of rain and possibly a little snow to go along with it. Yes, we could see some snow as temperatures get back down close to freezing tomorrow evening, with some juice left in the tank as far as precipitation is concerned. Yep, snow, not enough to add up. Yesterday, it was looking like the possibility of some more snow than what we're expecting to see, but not so much now. Little or no snow accumulation is expected. But possible snow showers throughout parts of your Thursday, early and then late. Friday, we're holding pat at 47, 29 for your low, even colder. Not as much moisture in the air. 50% chance of showers up through midday or so. Still winds up to 11 to 12, 13 miles per hour, more so out of the west-northwest on your Friday. Not quite as great. We'll take 10 miles per hour off. And shower chances pretty much gone by Friday night, leaving us with partly cloudy, 29, widespread frost. Frosty start to your Saturday, as you saw, mostly sunny and 53. For your Sunday, add 10. We'll start off on a frosty note, but hit 63 degrees, sunny skies, I do believe, and 60% chance of showers and storms as another system rolls through the viewing area and across much of eastern Kentucky. That takes us into Monday, where we see temperatures continue to improve and still holding on to shower and storm chances. Perhaps Monday 70, partly sunny, a 30% shot. Nighttime lows, though, in the low 50s. Yay. Tuesday 69, partly sunny, 30% chance of showers. Wednesday of next week, low 70s, low to mid 50s for nighttime lows. But more clouds perhaps and more shower chances than not midweek next week. It is springtime in Kentucky. And that's it. That'll wrap it up for tonight. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you for watching.